Hold it down too, I forget it. I was going to go over the instructions, but I need to follow them myself first. I'm Newton Cook, and we have with us the Executive Director, Drew Bartlett, sitting here to my left. And I just want to go over a few things. First of all, this is an open forum meeting. We do not have time periods or public comments. You just raise your hand and you'll be recognized anytime during the meeting. After every presentation, there'll be a time that you can make that, or if you want a question, you can raise your hand and give a question at any time. The first thing we will do after I go through this is we will start and go around the table and everyone just say who they are and who they represent. And after that, we will move on into the agenda. During the course of the meeting, there'll be a time when we ask it to people who are here that have ideas on what they'd like to see at the next meeting, that they present those ideas, and the staff will take that down, and you can almost bet that that will show up on the agenda or with the presenter at a future meeting. And we meet basically this second Monday of the month every quarter. We may go to 3 meetings a year because the one in the winter, I think, is a little bit slow. Yeah. So anyway, I'll read this. It says welcoming remarks from me, and it says welcome remarks from Drew. So Drew, welcome.
Thanks, Newton. I really appreciate this forum, and thanks everyone for coming and making the time to attend. And I know we have some Zoom participants as well that we'll hear from as well. Thank you, FWC, for all the support you provide to us in helping us manage recreational opportunities on our district lands, which we take very seriously, and we really like to open them up to public recreation in a good way. And certainly, I know that there's a lot of benefits everyone can get out of recreating on our district lands. I get a lot out of these meetings, so thanks for coming, and I look forward to the engagement. So look forward to hearing everyone's name. Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much, Drew. I can tell you that dealing with water management districts all over the state, the South Florida Water Management District is more open to recreation on its property than all the rest of them put together. And it shows. It shows wherever you go on the properties, you see a lot of people, you see great care of the properties, you see great access to the properties. That does not happen by accident, and it costs a lot of money for the district to do that, a lot of time for personnel, and it's very much appreciated. Now, it's good to see everybody here. I'm just kidding Drew, because we probably got more here than we had the governing board meeting last Thursday. That $5 gasoline is keeping them away. We are on Zoom tonight, and the people on Zoom out there, again, raise your hand when you want to be recognized, and we will recognize you, and you can make comments all during the meeting at any time. We will try to limit all our comments to within 3 minutes or so, but there is no set limit. So, but the limit is when I have a soft gavel, we have to move the meeting along. We do have a full agenda. If you do speak, do what I did not do in the beginning. Put your finger on the mic and you have to hold it down so you see green. And that way you know that we can hear you and it is being recorded, and that's important. I'll repeat this on people on Zoom so we get it exactly right. Members of the public who wish to comment may use the raise hand feature on Zoom. If you're having any trouble and need help, please go to the website, southfloridawatermanagementdistrict.gov, and click the Ask Us button at the top of the page. Staff will help you there. If you're on a phone and would like to comment, please press *9 to raise your hand. And then when they ask you to comment, hit *6, which will unmute your mic. We will be done here by 8 o'clock. We have never not, I think one time we went 5 minutes over once. So we will be out. Okay. First thing we do is just make a quick run around the table here in the back. Everybody gets to introduce themselves and just briefly say where you came from. to come to the meeting tonight. There will be another time in the meeting where you'll have time to discuss. We'll do another roundtable, and you'll have time to discuss what you like to see, comments from other meetings or something. Okay, I'm Newton Cook. I'm the facilitator for the workshop meetings, and I'm the president of United Waterfowls of Florida, and I won't list all the other stuff at the FWC. Hey, Drew.
Hey, I'm Drew Bartlett. I'm the Executive Director for the South Florida Water Management District.
My name is Stephen Collins. I'm the Director of Real Estate and Land Management.
Good evening. My name is Rory Feeney. I'm the Land Resources Chief here at the district.
My name is Emily Johnson. I'm with the Office of Counsel at the district.
My name is Blaine Preston. I'm the Land Management Assistant here.
My name is Jamie Wilson, Vice President of Florida Horsemen's Club.
My name is Jeanette Henderson. I'm currently the campground host at the Dupuy Equestrian Center, and I'm here also as a liaison for the equestrian community in general.
Hello, my name is Cherie Tolley. I'm a member of Trail Riding Friends.
My name is Marilyn. I'm also a member of Trail Riding Friends.
Bishop Wright with the Florida Airboat Association and the Florida Sportsman's Conservation Association.
Brad Wyrock, I'm president of Kissimmee River Valley Sportsman, vice president of Florida Airboat Association.
My name is Tom Schmidt, president of the Florida Airboat Association.
I'm Mark Dombrowski, treasurer at the Florida Sportsman's Conservation Association.
I'm Michael Chubb, general manager at Palm Beach County Shooting Sports Complex.
TJ Koenig, I'm the shotgun sports coordinator at the shooting complex.
Tom Reinert, regional director for Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission.
Jim Schutte, section lead for Land Stewardship, Water Management District.
Bill Klein, section leader for Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission's Hunter Safety and Public Shooting Range.
Mike Cheek, I'm with the Water Management District. I'm a new recreation project manager. Been here about a month, but I've been with the district about 15 years, so looking forward to working with you guys.
James Harbaugh. I am a recreation land planner.
Good evening, everyone. Dan Cotter, section leader in land stewardship. Yeah, and I just wanted to introduce Mike Cheek. You probably all remember he's done a couple presentations here on the Kissimmee River restoration. He was doing that for over 15 years, working with the Corps on the restoration. He just started with us in our group now. So his, amongst many other responsibilities, his primary responsibility will be making sure all the projects, the great restoration projects, and there's probably about 24 that public use and facilities and recreation is included in those designs. So he'll be coming to this group probably every meeting and presenting on those things. So we're really happy to have him.
Good evening. I'm Molly Brown with the South Florida Water Management District.
Hi, everyone. My name is Yvette, South Florida Water Management District.
In the back there, if you just grab a mic and you pass it around back there and go down the line.
My name is Dennis Healy. I'm a member of the Florida Horsemen's Club.
Hi, I'm David O'Connor and the treasurer for the Florida Horsemen's Club.
I'm Petra Grimm, also with the Florida Horsemen's Club.
John Kavalauskas, Florida Horsemen's Club.
Carol Walter, Jupiter Horsemen's Association and the Florida Horse Club.
Larry Daniels with the Florida Airboat Association, secretary.
All right, thank you very much, everybody. Okay, we're off and running. Our first presentation here is Bill Klein. He's a section leader for Hunting Safety and Public Shooting Ranges, Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. And I'll tell you a quick story as Bill prepares. In 2002, was it Bill? 2003, I got a phone call from this guy. I didn't know him from anybody. He said, I need you to go to the Palm Beach County Commission meeting. I said, yeah. He says, we got to get that gun range. I said, yeah. And he said, we've been working on that gun range out there, public gun range, Palm Beach County, for like 10 years by then, right, Phil? And I went to that commission meeting, and we spoke in favor of the gun range. And believe it or not, we just got it within the last couple of years. But that's how long this gentleman's been working on that. And it is a world-class gun range. And you can thank this gentleman here for having it. Thank you, Bill. Go ahead.
Thank you, Newton. As you can tell, we run at the speed of government, and government ain't getting no speeding tickets when it comes to building shooting ranges. But there's a lot of planning, there's a lot of budgeting, there's a lot of forethought that has to go in that, and we appreciate your patience as we have moved through the hurdles of getting that done. It's an honor to be here. Appreciate Newton and especially Executive Director Bartlett for hosting these meetings and all, especially all that South Florida Water Management District does in cooperation with our agency. The FWC delivers safe and enjoyable customer experiences through our Hunter Safety and Public Shooting Ranges program. And the Palm Beach County Shooting Sports Complex is just one of those successful accomplishments made possible through the support from our partners. And the goal of this presentation, I want to show you the partnership between FWC, a little bit between FWC and South Florida Water Management District, especially as it relates to our section, and then give you a little quick overview of the purpose of FWC Managed Shooting Range, and then show you some of the proposed enhancements that we have to the Palm Beach County Shooting Sports Complex. The treasured partner that we have is the Palm Beach County, or the South Florida Water Management District. And last year, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission honored the South Florida Water Management District with the Youth Hunting Program of the Year, Landowner of the Year Award. The partnership just with this program started back in 2011 when South Florida Water Management District was the first state agency to facilitate youth hunts on public land. And the Youth Hunting Program of Florida, we deliver safe, educational, mentored youth experiences. And Grassy Island was the place where that was offered. And that also culminated into South Florida Water Management District. Your staff said, why don't we do a youth python hunt? So it was their idea, and we partnered with them to that. And if you fast forward today, at the present, South Florida Water Management District provides on average the opportunity for 20 of these youth hunts that we do just in our section. But that's one of the many ways South Florida Water Management District partners with our agency. And I'm Tom Reinhardt, our regional director is here. I'm sure he could give you a list that would go on past Newton's 8 o'clock stopping hour. So I just wanted to highlight that and tell them we're thankful for that. The one that we're here to talk about is the one that we worked together with to put together the Palm Beach County Shooting Sports Complex. That was on a site that was the former Mecca property, which is going to be a water impoundment just south of the facility. And facilities such as that enable us to increase access to hunter safety training and provide a safe, environmentally friendly place for the public to shoot. And that's important in fulfilling our mission in our section and our agency. And facilities such as the water impoundment are important to the comprehensive Everglades restoration plan and improving fulfillment of South Florida Water Management District's mission. So working together, we were able to accomplish good things. And one of the reasons why we wanted a facility in Palm Beach County is there's a lot of people that need hunter education training. There's a lot of people that need a outdoor firearms range. There was no outdoor firearms range within the county, and the Palm Beach County was the largest populated county in the state of Florida without an outdoors firearm range for years. And so over the past 5 years, though, cooperative efforts not only in Palm Beach County, but in other with other private contributors, with other county stakeholders and agencies such as South Water Management District. We built 5 new hunter education classrooms. We've strategically placed these throughout the state to host these trainings that we do for youth. And we teach youth how to be a responsible firearms owner. Some people have said, we're about the only training program that teaches people not to shoot each other, okay? And that's a good thing. When you think about hunter education training, that's what we're all about, safe, responsible hunting. And facilities such as this help us carry on that mission. We've made great strides in providing opportunities for students to learn conservation. That's one of the fundamental principles of a hunter education program, is the student has to spend several hours learning about conservation, how to be good stewards of the land. But they also build skills for hunting, they learn safety and improve their marksmanship skills. And this is made possible by enhancements we've done with online training and by essential hands-on training. So, over the past few years, it's important for us to have these facilities because we engage new gun owners. And in addition to providing access to hunter education training, we provide a great place for a diverse group of new gun owners to engage in safe, responsible use of firearms. These safe, clean, friendly ranges are open to the public and provide the opportunity to learn how to shoot at some of the best facilities in the country. The National Shooting Sports Foundation, and that's the trade association for the firearms industry, reports that more than 8 million Americans purchased a firearm for the first time in 2020. That was the last time they pulled out those statistics. Their surveys indicate that first-time firearms purchases among African American men and women increased by 58%, the largest increase of any demographic group. Women comprised 40% first-time gun purchases, and that's some of our target audiences that we want to reach with our messages of conservation, our messages of safety, and messages about hunting. And engaging these new gun owners with basic safety training and marksmanship skills at our facility is important to the Hunter Safety and Public Shooting Ranges program. The 2020 rate of target sport shooting participation among adults in the United States was 24.1%, which represents 56.4 million adults participating in any type of target shooting in 2020. Again, that's the latest statistics that they've printed. More people participate in target shooting than play tennis, soccer, or baseball. Among target shooters, nationwide demographics show African American and Hispanic shooters being the largest category of new shooters, with 30% and 29% increases in first-time participants, respectively. There was also significant increases in younger participants, with a 19% increase in new shooters between the ages of 18 and 34, and 17% increase in female participation. And that increased diversity of participants is also reflected in the participation numbers that we see at our shooting ranges, and especially here at Palm Beach County Shooting Sports Complex. And that allows our agency to reach out beyond what our normal stakeholders are. There's a lot of people that come to this complex right now, and we hadn't even announced officially we're open yet, but there's a lot of people that don't even know that J.W. Corbett is right next door, don't know the reason why there's 66,000 acres set apart for conservation right there. And we're going to get those messages to those people and incorporate them into our training. So the FWC's Hunter Safety and Public Shooting Range program, we reinvest a portion of funds that we receive from the Wildlife Restoration Act to range facilities that support Florida's vibrant economy. For FWC owned and operated facilities, the business model is for these to be self-sustaining, and thus be a zero tax burden to citizens of Florida. Federal grants from the Wildlife Restoration Program fund construction. User fees support range operations. These user fees are deposited into an account, and the Fish and Wildlife Foundation of Florida uses those entirely for the purpose of operating our shooting ranges. And protocols for safe, efficient, and effective range operations are implemented by volunteers and contract employees, many of whom of our employees are veterans or former law enforcement officers. And these contract employees are paid by staffing agencies from the user fees. And then, like I say, excess funds go right back into operation of the facilities. So the Palm Beach Shooting Sport Complex is one of these invest inward projects. The 156-acre complex is one of the most comprehensive shooting sports facilities here in Florida, with a facility consisting, it has 5 rifle and handgun ranges. There's 5 Olympic trap fields, 6 American trap fields, 9 skeet fields, 5 of which those are set up to shoot Olympic skeet, compact sporting clays, and 15 sporting clays, station sporting clays course. They also is set to host regional, national, and even international competitive events out there. The phase 1, we started with building the rifle and pistol ranges. Phase 2 came in with the construction of the sporting clays course. Phase 3 was the trap and skeet fields. Phase 4 is our paving project, and proposed for phase 5 is the Administration Center Archery, RV, and Recreation. So these fields have already been set, and I did want to be a big shout out to Vinnie Hancock, who was there a couple weeks ago, 3-time Olympic shooter. I think Bishop was there and got to see him shoot a little bit. Those, he was there and he shot a perfect score. So the first time we shot on that field, that was a perfect score shot there. But that's the type of competitions and training, the selectional matches and stuff that we're striving to bring to support the economy here in Palm Beach. 5 stand, sporting clays, it's golf with a gun if you've never played sporting clays before. I say that in Palm Beach County, y'all have a lot of very nice golf courses, so maybe I need to find a new expression for that, but it's a competitive way to where you walk around the track with different events. So current enhancements. The current enhancements consist of paving. We've got the internal paving done. Now we're working on paving Seminole Pratt Whitney Road. And this road leads to the Palm Beach County Shooting Sports Complex and is the main entrance to the J.W. Corbett Wildlife Management Area. Paving of the road benefits those visiting the shooting sports complex, as well as schools and families traveling to the historic Everglades Youth Conservation Camp, which is located just northwest of the facility. It also helps hikers, birders, anglers, and hunters who are using the 60,000-acre J.W. Corbett Wildlife Management Area. Towards this paving project, Palm Beach County contributed $1 million, and working in conjunction with South Florida Water Management District, we're able to re-engineer our road. They're lifting it up to raise the elevation 2 feet in order to accommodate the needs of South Florida Water Management District's property directly to the east of that. And so there they are. That's fresh of like a couple hours ago. They're pulling out, raising up 2 feet. So when all this is done, you don't have to worry about raising the road another 2 feet, and that will eventually be paved. So it is a work in progress. They got slowed down a little by some rain, but within the next few months, this whole portion of the project will be complete. The property enhancements that we have been discussing to the facility is made possible by this portion of land in red, which is 39.5 acres of land that the district had that was sort of a little out parcel after we had to design the sporting clays on the other facility and on the shooting sports side of the facility. And several years ago, when they were going through the planning process of this, they realized that they didn't necessarily need that entirely for their project, but they are going to use it as part of a staging area and stuff like that over the next year or so while they're building their project. But after that, we needed to have some recreation on it. And so what we agreed to do was to, after the construction, the transfer of the property, which they gracefully did at their last board meeting, that helps us support that. We help them by re-engineering the road and working together. This is some of the stuff we're going to be able to do. So we are able, with our agency's money, to take values of state funds and what the value of that property is and get 3 times that in federal match. So from our standpoint, from our agency, that just sprung another little windfall of our ability to provide recreational improvements in this county because of what the Water Management District did. So again, Drew, thanks for being able to see that and understand how that works. This man understands how federal funding works better than most people I've dealt with over the years. And so that's going to help us build things like the administrative center. And this is going to be able to, this was in the original plan. Funding for it was contingent on some other things, and getting matching funds was one of those challenges. But this building will help us attract and support large state, regional, national, and international events. So it's a 10,000 square foot facility that will be used to support those. And that's going to provide a significant economic impact to the county right there. When you host a large event and you have thousands of people coming out there, they have to have a place to go. Right now, we have a basic clays center where local customers can come and pay their dues and go shoot. But if you're bringing in big events, you have to have a place to host those. And so that's one of the things that will allow us to do that. There's the drawing on, there's also a pavilion that's involved in this for recreational use when people are doing sporting clays events. It don't have a roof on it. This is just the latest drawing that we've got from the engineering staff. That's going to be out there next to the fields, the sort of front field 10, 11, for those of you who are familiar with the facility. And the other thing is archery place. There's an area where you can do walk-through trails for archery, picnic, recreation area. Main thing over here, RV campsite with restrooms. There's a lot of people who come in when they competitively shoot. The spectators stay in the hotels, but if you're driving around with a lot of firearms and ammunition, normally you're coming in a big RV. If you're one of the top shooters, they just like to travel around like that. So that'll help support that for the facility. So the administrative building, target, recreational area, RV place, and these are just conceptual what we're working with, and we're going to further bring these out in more public opportunities for people to comment on what the needs are out there specifically. This can be adjusted if we find that there's other things that we can do right in that area and can afford to put in. We're open to that. So that's part of our proposed enhancements. So the FWC shooting ranges are increasing access to our hunter education training. We're involving students in firearm safety. We're inviting new firearms owners to safely participate in a diverse group of people. We're positively impacting Florida's economy and investing inward in our self-sustaining infrastructure. And when completed, the complex out there will be one of the finest and most conveniently located comprehensive shooting sports facilities in the southeastern United States. And we are eternally thankful for the partnership and cooperation of Palm Beach County, and especially the South Florida Water Management District, as well as others, for their support in helping us bring these enjoyable customer experiences through our shooting range program. So learn more about all our shooting ranges. You can visit us at myfwc.com/ranges.
All right. Thank you, Bill. You've already answered the number one question. Don't go too far from a mic. You've already answered the number one question I got when I put the agenda up on Facebook. And that is, when are you going to pave that damn road? I think anybody who's been out there, they know. Of course, the people in Corbett, hunt Corbett and all, they don't mind it being rough because it keeps a lot of people out of there. But the shooting range does need, and that's great to hear that it's being worked on. Okay, we start the public comment here, and all you have to do is just raise your hand, and then we'll go to Zoom. So if the Zoom people will be ready, and when you raise your hand out there, Yvette here will recognize you. Okay, I'm going to start this way with the hand raising. Yes, Bishop.
You find any extra money in that budget phase 4 for that bike trail?
You can ride your bike around the archery trail, so we're going to allow you to do that. Yes, and that's a good point, and that's what I'm talking about, additional recreational use. Those archery trails, they're good walking trails, they're good bike trails, and if you're an archery shooter, when you go up there, there'll be another little spur off of it where there'll be an archery target on it, but they're multi-use trails.
Thanks for all your hard work, Bill. And thanks staff for water management, everybody working together to make this project finally come together. And it's reality is getting closer and closer, and it's exciting.
Okay, just a reminder, it's a good idea for the guy up there in the mic who records this thing that you introduce yourself before you ask your comment. And if you represent a club or something, it's nice to say that because that goes on record as well. And okay, moving across from Bishop, any other questions or comments? Okay, Tom.
Yeah, Tom Reiner, Regional Director. I just want to reiterate what Bill said numerous times, but to thank Drew and Chauncey. We hosted them out there for them seeing the vision that Bill had and converting it to what we're seeing now. And that donation of that land is going to go a huge way to create the administrative center, which will be so necessary for hosting international events. It'd be such a benefit to Palm Beach County, but increasing hunter safety in the area. So we really do appreciate that partnership. So thank you.
Yes, sir.
Jim Schutte, Water Management District. I live about 3 miles away from there, and I haven't gotten over there. Could you go through the process of signing up for that and an idea of how busy is it these days?
So to come use the facility, you come in, you come to the what we call the Clay Target Center, which is the building at the rear of the complex now. You'll come in and watch a 12-minute safety video. So we want everybody to go through safety video. They'll issue you a card. They'll ask you if you have any questions on that, and then they'll take you out. And if you're shooting rifle or pistol, you'll be assigned a range with a range safety officer where they'll help you, get your gear out and help you shoot. Or if you're going to sporting clays, they'll have a range safety officer over there that'll help show you around how to start the course or our trap and skis. So it's a supervised facility. It's open to the public. If you don't shoot and you need to learn more about it, we offer classes for people. About once a month, they have a class out there for new firearms owners that they will take you through the safety. They'll take you through hands-on. They'll take you out to the range. They'll help you with your first shots if you've never shot before. Or for those people who want more experience, or you can take a hunter ed class and come out there, and after you do your hunter ed, go online and go out there and go through the shooting of rifles, shotguns, we don't shoot handguns, rifles, shotguns, archery at the facility. So we'll treat you so many ways, Jim, you're going to have to like one or two of them. Come out there and visit us.
Okay, anyone else here? All right, Yvette, we have any raised hands?
Yes, sir. We have Michael Elfenbein.
Hi, Yvette, Drew, Newton, everybody else in the room. Good evening. Mike Elfenbein, Cypress Chapter of the Isaac Walton League. Bill, I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank you for your hard work. This is pretty cool, fantastic, and awesome. I don't know how many opportunities I'll have to make it to the East Coast, so you might remember the last time you and I spoke about making something like this on the West Coast. I'd love to see that happen, but this is pretty amazing and fantastic, and thank you for all your hard work and dedication and perseverance despite all the obstacles.
Thank you, Mike. Next, we have Richard Martinez.
Hi, this is Richard Martinez with the Florida chapter, Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. And I just had a question regarding the archery range. Is that going to be operated by a club, or is that going to be where you have like a daily use fee to shoot the range?
So great question. So our facilities have both options. So if you aren't a club member and you want to try archery for the first time, you can pay the daily entry fee that you pay to go on the rifle and handgun ranges. That also covers your admission into the archery side of the complex. But also, as with our other facilities, we have clubs that are associated with that archery center. The two oldest clubs in the United States of America, the Panhandle Archers Association and then Trails Archery Association, the one up in the Escambia County and the other one down in Polk County, those have clubs that are operated on FWC managed shooting ranges. So we work in conjunction with them and they have events out there. And then, like I say, the public who doesn't want to be a part of a club member or whatever can just pay a regular range fee. So if there's opportunity out there, if there's organized clubs that want to have events or have this sort of nestled into their own little private thing, to have those discussions with us.
And if folks wanted to establish a club, who would they reach out to?
Mike. So our general manager here is Michael Chubb, and so he is the man on the ground out there. Come out and introduce yourself and work with Michael.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sorry, I have no additional hands raised.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Bill, for another presentation. Over the years, you've made every step from before they even broke ground. I think we had you on, and we sort of appreciate it. Okay, next on the agenda is Alafata restoration update from Jim Schutte. And if you haven't been out to Alafata, it is a beautiful place, and there's said to be some pretty good turkey hunting out there.
All right, thank you, Newton. Just wanted to give everybody an update on what's going on the Alafata Flats management area. A lot of restoration work has been done in the recent couple of years here. So for those who don't know, we got Alafata Flats management area. It's the middle of Martin County out there, over 20,000 acres, corner of 609 and 714. Historically, there was a lot of water out there. It's called Alafata Flats because of this flowway over here on the west side, the flats. It connected it hydrologically between the St. John's area and the Everglades. So also, and then you go a little bit east of there was a lot of wetland areas also. So a lot of wet prairie. Is that better? All right. A lot of wet prairies, freshwater marsh, interspersed with some islands of pine, maple, bay. So you had quite a bit of a flowway out there, some ridges of pines, mesec pines out there, but mostly a lot of water. The area is kind of separated into four areas. You got we're very original when we did this. You got the A, the B, the C, and then the Steel property over here. Separated over on the west side by Fox Brown Road. So in 1942, the C-23 canal was dug out. And by 1957, you can see most of these feeder canals to the C-23 had been developed, designed to drain the area for future use. And that future use, a lot of it had to do with cattle. There have been row crops grown out there, some sod production, but this is a lot of pasture land currently is on the Alafata A, B, and C, and some of the Steel. There was one little area, or not so little, but 1,800 acres of Area A that was never improved. It wasn't improved pasture, left natural, and that's kind of being used as our reference point to what species were out there and the kind of hydrology going on and what we want to achieve. So if you are familiar with that area, hopefully we can make the rest of Alafata looks somewhat similar to what was never impacted in the central portion of Unit A. So the restoration, in 2001, the Indian River Lagoon South Project identified the Alafata Flats Complex as an essential component for water storage, and identified specifically the Alafata Ranch as a natural wetland system that we could restore and provide for some attenuation of the rainfalls. It was identified for a SERP acquisition, but prior to, for a Carl acquisition, but prior to that, South Florida Water Management District and the Martin County combined to do a lot of the purchases of the property between 2002 and 2008. And then in one of the last projects of its kind on state property, NRCS bought in and did some conservation easements with the Water Management District through the Wetland Reserve Program. If you're a private rancher, you'll know that project, that program. Public lands are, I believe, no longer allowed to participate, but we got in there before they closed that out, and so we have a conservation easement on over 15,000 acres of the area, working in conjunction with NRCS to do the restoration there. And that's what funded the most recent efforts that we had out there. So 2004, we, as we were purchasing it, we started doing some restoration, planting of pines. You'll go out there and you'll see some of these pine plantations. Don't look too natural, but it was more trees than had been out there before. So there's a few places you can see out there in A and B where we planted some of the trees. Ongoing management efforts, prescribed fire. We do prescribed burns out there. The lessees, cattle lessees, do prescribe burns. Their efforts obviously are to produce a little bit more forage for the cattle. Ours are to keep the woody vegetation out of the field, so kind of similar goals. So we work together with lessees to get the fire on the land. Invasive plant control, not just exotic plants, but also the invasive woody plants that because it's over drained and hasn't seen too much fire over a period of time, you get the myrtles coming in and other woody vegetation. Cattle grazing is a management tool that we use out there to control some of the vegetation, make sure it doesn't get overgrown, to control the fuel loads that are on the area. And then we have the public use out there, the hunting, camping, and equestrian areas out there. So getting back to what I'm talking about here, we've got the project that, again, just recently completed the last phase of the first step of the restoration of A and B units with the NRCS money. So that addressed over 12,000 acres, trying to get the hydrology back to what it used to be, including 75,000 feet of berms built, 40 wetlands created. So we sourced the materials for the berms on site, and rather than this digging a whole bunch of pits out there, we designed them to be more wetland and appropriate for restoration, hydraulic restoration. So we've got 4 riser culverts, 2 gated weir culverts. So the main thing is this levee, and it's not much of a levee. Some places it's barely a berm, but just designed to hold in the water. We're not holding back 4 feet of water. We're holding back enough water to restore the hydrology that used to be out there. And then also, you saw all those ditches that used to be out there. We rather than filling in all the ditches, we put in 44 plugs trying to hold the water back, keep the water on the land a little bit longer. Next steps to this project, the levees, the that's going to be a long-term project, is stabilizing these levees, making sure that they stay maintained, that the cattle stay off them. They don't do too well on the levees. Monitoring the water levels, we kind of use the concept of building a box around the outside, and then at this point, we have to figure out what's going on the inside. So we're monitoring the water levels. We did the modeling before we did this, but there's a lot, as you can see, there's a lot of ditches out there. There's a lot of plugs out there. There's a lot of culverts that work and culverts that don't work, and so we're going out there identifying where the water is getting hung up and where it's cheating and taking shortcuts. Those would be our modifications that we would be listing out to improve the hydrology inside of the property. Verifying our hydro periods, we've got ideas of how long it should stay wet, how long hydric flatwood should stay wet or a wetland. And then after we do this, after we verify that the water is doing what the water should be doing, then we'll get into more of a active planting of native vegetation out there to try to move it along a little bit. A lot of the changes are going to be happening even before we plant because there is native plants out there, obviously. So that covers A and B. Future restoration on parcel C now. Again, we're in discussions with NRCS. They have an easement on about 2,500 acres. The eastern side of Unit C is another conservation easement, and their efforts are the same in this area as A and B, is to restore that portion of the property. However, there is no levee between their easement and water management district property without the easement. And so rather than building a box around their easement and trying to make things work inside of it, we're kind of going from an inside-out approach this time, is identifying where these culverts are, where these ditches are. We've got the levees around it pretty much. We've got a big levee on the south side. We've got the roads on the east side and the north side, and we really don't, Fox Brownell, that's kind of higher ground, and that's a natural stop for the water over there. So we're working together with NRCS, identifying current flows, current barriers, items, places that we need to do some work in the restoration. And then as we move forward, we'll figure out how much it all costs and start doing this. So hopefully in the next few years, we'll be addressing some of the water issues over there on C. So this is, again, kind of a schematic of where we want to get Alafata to be. And just want to point out that this is just one of several restoration projects that Land Stewardship has going on. Yunga Riddick up there in the north end has done quite a bit with Ducks Unlimited on Gardner Cobb, and going to be working on Cypress Lake and Rolling Meadows. So we've got some other things going on up there. We've got a couple projects that are going on Dupuis, similar to this, filling in some of those ditches out there. Again, with Ducks Unlimited, hopefully. And then the Cypress Creek, we've got that pepper field over there that the leasees have just vacated, and we'll be looking to turn 300 acres of pepper fields back into what it used to be 75 years ago. So this is just one of a number of projects going on out there, trying to kind of a number of things, hold the water back so that it's not rushing out to the estuaries as fast as normally would, making use of the properties that the water management purchased specifically for these purposes, and then also doing the restoration on top of it. So any questions?
Thank you, Jim. Please, when we start and go around the room again, please state your name and if you have an affiliation before you make your comment. It helps a lot with the people doing the video. Okay, a lot of horseback riding out there, right?
Yes, there is.
Just
So
saying.
my request would be to have, I'm sorry, yes, I'm Jamie Wilson with Florida Horsemen's Club, to have maps at the site. So we were there 2 or 3 months ago with a group, and the trails are are mowed, but the only map was on the pavilion, so we were trying to take pictures with our cell phones, and we got lost. Because there's a lot of ins and outs and going through gates and this and that, but so there was no written map that we could take with us. So that would be my request.
And I think, yeah.
Hi, Jamie. Yeah, I'm writing that down and we'll address it. We've got some maps. There's actually a link on the website, but I'll get that to you all. And yeah, we can improve that. The map, you're talking about the trails off Fox Brown? Yeah, okay. Yep, we'll do that. We'll get with you and get some maps to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else regarding the equestrian side? The place is kind of confusing. Every time I go out there, I tend to get lost. It's easy to get lost out there. But it is a beautiful spot. And I just want to ask a question. How are we doing with the exotics out there? The pepper and other exotics.
How are they?
Are we making progress on reducing the influx, particularly from the roadsides that tend to drift into the interior?
Yeah, we're doing better than we're moving forward. Again, going back to NRCS, we've got some more funding coming from them. It's matching funds, so we're spending our money this year, and then they'll reimburse us for that money. So it's money we would have spent anyhow, but it's going towards a match from NRCS, and it's targeting the pepper down there in Unit B. So that's one aspect. Another aspect is how we're doing it. And you mentioned coming in from the outsides. Previously, some people stopped treating the exotics when they got to the fence line next to 609 or 714, which just left the seed source like right there. So we're in our approaches to the exotics, we're kind of changing things up a little bit and doing a more systematic effort. We're also doing some experiments with treatments on the pepper with different herbicides and biologicals. So we've got a few things in the cooker on that.
Actually, I know it's a very difficult problem. Anyone that manages public land in Florida, you know, it just drives you crazy because it's a never-ending battle. And particularly if you got roads running through it, the people who maintain the roads tend to let the Brazilian pepper just flourish all up and down the roadsides. And that's not good for the natural areas. Okay, as we're going around, anyone else here before we go to the Zoom? Do we have anyone from Zoom?
Yes, we do. We have Billy Locker.
Newton, how you doing? Can you hear me, Newton?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, good. Billy Locker in Buckhead Ridge. How you doing, Newton Cook? I guess you can hear me.
We're doing well, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I would recommend to anybody, and especially the lady there from the horseback riding club, to use OnX Hunt app. You can mark your spot. It'll show the entire area, and you can go right back to where you started from. It's a great hunt app for anybody that's on those areas or going hunting anywhere for that matter. OnX Hunt app. You can buy it just for the state of Florida if you want to. Sometimes you can get a special on it. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that to everybody.
No additional hands are raised.
Okay, that seems to be all out there. We got a long list of people on Zoom.
Okay.
Okay, anyone else here on this particular subject? Okay.
Hey, Jim? Yeah, you seen any difference out there after the hydrologic restoration effort? You seen any ecologic shifts or anything yet, or is it too early to tell?
It's still pretty early. Some of these areas, we're trying to take advantage of that also, rather than using, getting back to what Newton was saying, taking advantage of the water and fire and different combinations of them to attack smut grass mainly, but some of these other ones. Some of the areas are staying wetter longer. It takes a little bit of time for some of these to switch over. So stay tuned.
Just the same, there's absolutely no ducks out there. No ducks. We have anyone else?
Yes, we do. We have Mike Elfenbein.
Thanks, Yvette. Thanks, guys. Jim, great presentation. Question, maybe you know off the top of your head, maybe you don't. What does it cost per acre to manage the invasive vegetation that grows in the management area there?
Specifically at Alafata?
Yes.
Well, it's a whole process, and if you do it right, prices are going ridiculously expensive lately. Used to be you could do some, if you had Brazilian pepper, it could be upwards of $1,000 an acre for the initial treatment, and prices are going up. Some of the historic numbers for Lygodium, the climbing fern, might be upwards of $150 an acre for really bad stuff. Again, that's going up. What we're trying to do is, specifically on Alafata, like I said, take advantage of the restoration so that the pepper will be impacted by the water, and then follow it up with some of the herbicides, trying to reduce the prices out there. But it is expensive, and it's getting more expensive, and trying to even in this economy, trying to find laborers to go out there and do it. Even if you do have the money, it's getting more and more challenging for the exotics.
And is Melaleuca not on your radar there? I don't spend a lot of time in there. I've never seen any Melaleuca. Is there any Melaleuca issues in there?
No, it's pretty much clear of the Melaleuca. It's Brazilian pepper, and it is pretty much the main one. We've got the some of the I'm drawing those. Some of the pasture pests out there.
Grasses, gotcha.
Yeah, and then as we move forward, obviously, the ranchers have a different interpretation of exotics than we do. So as water floods out the Bahia, they'd love to get rid of the smut grass, but with the smut grass goes the Bahia. So it's going to be a transition.
Gotcha. But even at $1,000 an acre to address one specific plant and rising, you would say as expensive as it is, it's probably a necessity we can't do away with, right?
Well, that's our goal, is to get rid of the exotics out there. I mean, time will tell how much funding we have and the priorities, but I think it's doable. Again, as I said, next year NRCS is going to be doubling our budget specifically for the Brazilian pepper, and I think that's going to get us real close to being in the ballpark of being able to handle it. So after you get a hold of it, then the prices, ideally, you'd like to get it to the point where you're not putting out too much herbicides out there, and you're able to control it, maybe doing spot treatments every 4 years at the price of maybe $250 an acre.
Gotcha. You're doing a great job, man. Proud of you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mike. Anyone else, Yvonne?
No additional hands.
Okay, anyone else here with a comment on Alafata? All right, well, thank you very much, Jim, as usual. a good presentation. Okay, now we move to Jim Harbaugh. He's a recreation planner here at the district. And he will be talking to us about the STA updates. And I know there's a number of people on Zoom out there who wants to talk about the STAs, and every one of you are welcome. And we will give everyone time, but just be courteous as we work our way through it. Thank you.
All right, here we go. Thanks for having me here. There's my contact information, which I'll be talking about the STAs, obviously, as Newton pointed out. I'm going to start off right away with STA hunting with alligators. The state has, the FWC has passed a 24-hour hunting on most properties. The STAs and A1 FEB will not have those extended hours. We're going to retain the original hours that we've been doing in the past. This is mainly because the STAs, we need to not necessarily limit the access, but we need to have secured access. If we just have the gates open for the entire weekend, we're going to be attracting some things potentially. And the STAs have a lot of function in there that we like to protect from just unsecured access. Also, other public use out there, a lot of birding, tours, they happen during the daylight. So this was a good move into just keep it so that we don't have the conflicts. But there still will be hunting out there. So it's just that we're not going to be changing the hours from 24 hours. And we'll be doing the way we have been doing it for the past. So basically no change on that from our perspective. STA 1, waterfowl hunting. I want to talk about this. We have the refurbishment project that has been taking up so much of the area out of hunting has been completed. So the quota will go up this year back to the original pre-construction levels. So we'll have the cell 5B, 5A, possibly some other cells in here where there's potential for hunting. We can get some access in there. The refurbishment did quite a bit of changing on the landscape. We took this levee right here. This levee is now reshaped and basically goes all the way across where as before it didn't. It had a different configuration. In fact, I can't even remember how it looked now. I've been working with these maps for so long. I think it used to go straight down right here, something like that. And then another addition over here, there was a levee that was right here. That one was removed, and they've created a new cell. It is now cell 2B4, creative. So that's the major changes on the landscape there. So this year, these cells will be open for waterfowl hunting and alligator hunting. The one big change is going to be where the access is. Last year and the years prior, we have been putting an access over here to the northwest corner. We're going to move it over to the original access site. And this is because of the levees on the east side and the west side essentially are going to be closed due to construction activities or haul routes. On the east side, there's going to be several, I'm not 100% sure what they're doing, but they're doing some improvements to some of the structures. They're putting in some cables, some monitoring. I'm not sure what's all going on in there, but that side will be closed off. So instead of trying to open, close, because they're at different levels at different times, just keep it closed for the season, and it makes it a lot simpler so we don't have any confusion between early teal and late season or with the alligator hunting. The haul route is over on the west side this year, and so there's should be no interference from dump trucks going through there. So that's basic layout of the property here. To get into these cells on the expansion area, there is a crossing, which I have highlighted in this little inset map here. So we can come straight down here, cross over, and still get into all of these. So it's going to be accessible, just a different route. Like I said, the quota is going to increase. I don't have the exact numbers off the top of my head, but I believe it was like 70 for the one hunt and then 50 for the other hunt for the different sides. Alligator, the quota is going to be down. The FWC did a habitat and an assessment of night shining, and the population is not as high as it used to be, so they have reduced the amount of gators that are going to be taken out of the STA. Not much to say here other than that. The big thing is that the levees are open, that the construction is done on STA 1 West. STA 2, there's a big refurbishment going on over here, which is preventing access to a lot of the STA again. So the quota is going to be the same as was last year. It seems like it's pretty minimal. I think it was 10 or 15. It was pretty low. It was under 20, if I recall correctly. But it's going to be about the same as it was last year. The only big difference is that we are going to be able to access into cell 4 right here. If you look at the inset map, it was noticed that we can get to 3. We're making this crossing right here to get over to the cell 3. And then cell 4, while there may not be a whole lot of opportunities in there per se, there may only be enough space for 4 or 5 vehicles to park there. It is some additional space in an area that's already got some tight hunting restrictions for access. These other cells, while they could potentially be open for hunting, there's not a lot of opportunity there because of the vegetation is pretty choked in. I think in cell 7 that there's some opportunities in there as well. A lot of this we haven't determined the exact points, but we're working on trying to increase some of the areas, where the cattail was difficult to get into. There's scuttle about taking a piece of equipment and mashing in some of that cattail so it's a little easier to get through. The initial, treasures are going out there and putting these trails in and then being maintained by other people. Now we're going to try some mechanical help out with that. So that eastern levee over here will get a bit of additional hunting opportunities. The rest of it is going to be closed. I don't have an exact date when this should be all done, but most of the work is happening in cell 2. It's a complete refurbishment. And then once this finally get past this construction, we should be able to open it. I am going to point out that I have this inset map here. You can't go up and around and turn around on the levee up there because the haul route is up there. So you're gonna have to back up, turn around, do a 52-point turn on the levee, and then come back out. It's in the agreement that 300 feet from where the haul route is, there's no public access. So that's why there is this little inset kind of showing that. What else we got? Alligator, like last year, there's not going to be any quota hunts in this one. It's just kind of small amount of space that is still open for access. So it'll be the same as 2021. Just got multiple hunters in a small area. There's just not enough canals in there to open it up for hunting this year. But this should be done 2023. And then after we get everything settled in, we should be able to open up for alligator again. What the quota will be at this time, I don't know. I don't have a history of that. This is only my first year here. Congratulations, this is my full year here with this. Here's a great example of, this is cell 2. I don't have a map of gator because it didn't necessarily need it. And looking over, you can see cell 3 over here. And I can't remember what's up this way. I want to say 1 or 2, I can't remember. But they do have that drawn down, and there's a lot of regrading going on in there. So it's a refurbishment project also. STA 3-4. This one is going to be pretty much the same as well. The quotas, off the top of my head, there's not going to be any much changes. I did get notification that there may be one refurbishment project in cell 2, which could have a little bit of an adverse effect because there were some access points in this cell. We may end up losing those. So I don't know, have 100% on that yet. That decision hasn't been handed down, so I don't know the answers on that. But cell 1A is still in the drawdown. The reason that the drawdown is, I'm a why person, why do they draw this down? Is because the vegetation in there is needs to be prepared. Well, the real why is because what happened is the vegetation delaminated, is what the term that they're using, basically became a floating cattail mat. So there was space underneath this floating cattail mat, and the cattail, the water was passing through, and the function of the cell was lost. So they drew the water down, and they're doing some vegetation management. They've got an excavator. They're using a rototiller on the end of the excavator, sweeping through and tilling everything back in, hoping to regain some of the desirable vegetation. So that's why that one is closed down. Access into it is probably not suggested just because of the conditions. One, it's a construction zone. We do have equipment in there, and that we can't predict where and when they last were in some place, and may create a situation where it's just stay out of it. It's a construction zone. No haul routes on this property. So the levees are largely open, except for where it doesn't make any sense. You know, why have this levee open if you're not gonna be able to access it anyways? So. Alligator in 3-4, the quota is going to be the same. The levees are going to be the same for open. There's no construction, so it's the same way. We do have on the south side here, and I put these in here to draw attention to the function of the STA is for water quality. And these areas down here, I've always been an area that, you know, it's kind of an area in question, if you will, for lack of a better term. It is a area where this is where the monitoring occurs. This is where the monitoring equipment is located at, and it has potential of creating direct conflict with the alligator getting into some of that stuff. Most of you gator hunters are avoiding the structures because you don't want to lose a gator in it, but it should be known that this is the area that is in of great interest to the managers for water quality monitoring. This is where it happens. These are where our numbers come from. So the less that we do in those canals, probably the better. That's my intent of pointing these out on here. It should be, we can't say that they're closed to hunting because we don't have that in the rules, but we should be aware that this is where the monitoring is occurring. That's about all I got to say on there. STA 5-6, it's going to be business as usual. It's been the last few years. The way I have these red lines on here, you can kind of defer where the water flow is going. It's going from east to west. And then these red lines are also on all my other maps. Basically what those purple yellow lines are is you don't access into the levee or from the levee into the cells off of those. And it kind of gives you paints a picture of how the water flows in here instead of having arrows all over the place. The quota will be the same as it has been in the past few years. The condition of the STA is pretty much the same as it was last year. Hopefully we can get some more water in there. C-139 FEB is still under construction, so we have the closure again. Instead of using a Deer Fence Canal Road for access, we'll be coming up off of Bloomberg Road on the north side there. The Deer Canal or Deer Fence Canal Road should be completed 2023, which will open up this access again. And they're going to be starting to do some other canal improvements on the north side, which may switch things around a little bit as well. But as far as for this year, no construction is planned to close anything down. All the access will be the same as it has been in the past few years, and so will the quota. STA 5-6, same thing. It's not much changed. I've just added a few things to the map. Again, the purplish hashed line over on the west side is where the monitoring equipment is. And I kind of blew up an inset to just kind of show you how frequent they are every quarter mile. So there is some sensitivities to the structures there and a potential for conflict with the, not really necessarily conflict, but whatever, with the interfacing with the structures and the monitoring equipment there. That's all yeah. And then the FEBs, we have a little bit of a change. Last year from about the midpoint on the western levee, it was closed all the way to the north over to the other access. The access is going to be down in the corner here where it was last year. We have an additional soft closure. They're working over on the A2, and there's a structure going in over here, I believe. And there's also a haul route over on this side that comes up out of here and up onto the levee. So we have this closed again as well. Just an additional, should be done hopefully this portion of what, a year and a half. But I do know that the A2 is going to be affecting the area for a long time coming. I think the projected date of completion is 2029. So it's a long way. So we may have closures up here for a while, but the STA or the FEB is open largely on the rest of the levees. Quotas are the same. Yeah, there's that's what we got going on there. Alligator, same. Again, I just wanted to point out that the hunting hours in all the STAs and the FEB are not going to be 24-hour this year, despite FWC passing that rule change. We're going to retain the hours. Maybe we'll revisit it someday, but right now that's what we're going to be doing. The difference in this map and the other map, if you look, is I don't have that closure there. On the outside, it's always been this way. This immediately on the outside edge is outside of the FEB and is not part of the alligator hunting area. It's always been that way. And I think that FWC has their map capturing it too. So. STA 1 East, here's a good topic. Back in May of 2022, just this year, the governing board approved an alligator hunt in the STA. We will have our first quota season in 2023. The timing of when the approval from the board to when we can get quotas, and we weren't sure we're going to have it, and then making this information public on the FWC website just didn't quite coincide together cooperatively. So it was decided to, this year, instead of trying to do something in a rushed fashion, let's do what we can do and then ensure that we get it right for next year. So there will be a quota season 2023. We will be able to open up specialty hunts, being the youth hunt and wounded warrior hunt in this area, which will give a potential for some fantastic hunting. There's no rumor that there's quite a few gators in this stretch of property. This is a unique situation in here in that it is such a highly urbanized area that getting gator hunting in here is a lot different than it is for the waterfowl hunting and using a baying stick, so you don't have the same noise, you don't have as many people, and it's a different type of activity that bodes itself a little better with how densely populated the area is. But we are going to have a gator hunt in here, and we do have fishing up on the other side too, so there is recreational opportunities here. And that's what we got for this year in STA 1 East. That's all I have. If you have any questions, this is always a really good time for questions.
All right, thank you, Jenny. I think we have the ability to switch back to the different STA maps if necessary, right? Yeah, okay. I asked that question because there's the people, I know we got people on Zoom that might want to make a comment and they're going to want to maybe look at the map.
I didn't hear what he said.
Maybe, maybe not, we'll see. But okay,
no
first we'll start as usual here in the room. Anyone with any comments and questions on the STAs? Bishop?
Bishop Wright with the Florida Sportsmen's Conservation Association. Just want to thank staff for not making it a 24-hour hunt. It's and really want to thank staff for working on these alligator hunts. It's a very, very popular hunt. It's, And as y'all all know in the quota, it's a hard draw. So even all the way out to STA 5. And we really do appreciate those opportunities and the special procedures y'all have to get on there and everything y'all do to provide this hunt. And it's unique in its own way because you don't need a boat and all of those other good things about it. And I also like to say thank you to staff and the district and FWC and everybody for putting together these specialty hunts before August of 2023. It's nice to get in there and have a couple youth hunts and a wounded warrior hunt there before the public gets in there. And as y'all know, there's plenty of alligators in there. And it's really cumbersome to see that the urban area realized that hunting is needed around an urban area. And I want to say that most of all.
There's a photo of one east, and it looks like Africa. All the gators on that levee just lined up, and I said, if those people over in Wellington ever saw that, they would never bring about gator hunting in one east. Okay, Mark.
Mark Dombrowski, Florida Sportsman. I just wanted to reiterate what Bishop had just said about the 24-hour-day alligator hunt. I believe, and a lot of people do believe, that FWC's made a mistake on this one, and they may change their rules in the next few years when they realize it. So I would hope that the district is going to stay put. I mean, we don't need people out there. First of all, for district land, we don't need people out there 24 hours a day. There's a lot of construction that goes on, even on weekends out there. So that's one of the reasons that I see it. But like I said, I think the FWC's made errors in their judgment on the 24-hour, and I think they'll change those over the years. So hold sight for a couple of years. We may see it go back to the way it was. And I do want to thank you again for STA 1 East. As Bishop said, it's nice to see that we're able to help the people in the urban areas. They complain a lot about different things with hunting, but it seems like they're asking for it more and more every day. And I do believe that we can get in there and help manage the alligators, in those areas. So thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Anyone else here? Okay, I just want to say, Bishop, Mike Hill, we do the Wounded Warrior hunts on the ducks, and those people in the Outdoor Freedom Group are trying to find someone here to do the gator hunts, and I've recommended you as being the contact. I don't know whether you've heard from them or not, but if you haven't, I'll email you the info, because they're the ones that get the hunters. They bring the hunters in.
We've, Florida Sportsman's done some hunts in the past, and we would like to get back into that. And we would really like to do a wounded warrior hunt in this place called Dupree.
Yeah, we do 2 duck hunts, and they're very successful. I mean, just incredible. And I think when we were talking some months ago about getting 1 east for gators, the wounded warrior hunts would really be good. So we need to get the contact going there. We might be able to do a couple this year even, so it'd be great. Yeah. Okay, anyone else? All right, now I'm going to put this out to Zoom, and I don't think we have a lot of people yet who are raising their hand, but if you want to comment on the Zoom, and it does not just include what we discussed here, it also includes what I know is a hot subject out there, and that's the walk-in program suggestions. And if you want to comment on that, the people are here to respond. So just raise your hand and we will hear from you. Thank you.
I have Billy Locker, followed by Justin Zubro.
Yes, on STA 3 and 4, will cell 1A be open for the November, for this year, 2022 and 23 waterfowl season?
I know what he said.
Which cell was that?
Cell 1A and STA 3 and 4, will it be open?
1A, no, 1A is not going to be open this year.
Okay.
Because that's where they're doing the management in there, vegetation repairs. And there's equipment in there, so it's just best to stay out of it.
Okay. Justin?
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Just a quick question about STA One West extension. I know that that's open, like you were just discussing, for gator hunting, but evidently it's closed for fishing. Is that something that may change in the future? Will you, so that we could fish in some of those canals, walk along the levees and fish some of those canals back there? And another thing to note, the sign out front where you check in, where you can sign in, I guess, for hunting. There's no signage there specifically about the rule of no fishing. So that may be something that should be added. That's it. Thank you.
Hey, Justin, this is Dan. Yeah, the area at STA One West is open for fishing where the public use area is along that levee there. Of course, the hunting and any special programs that go beyond the cells aren't, normally open to the public, but that stretch there where the public use area is open Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday is open for fishing there. There was some signs there several years ago that prohibited fishing, and we opened that back up or opened it up to fishing. So, and if you have any questions on that, just feel free to get a hold of me or James, and we can show you the areas.
All righty, thank you.
Okay, last chance out there for the Zoom people, where that was the last one we show. Oops, we just have another one. Thank you.
Todd Selvig?
Hey, good evening. Todd Selvig with United Waterfowlers. Just a quick question on the walk-in. Any changes in the walk-in status? Would be the first question. And I do have a saved round for Alafata. As the water increases, are there any changes on the road, or as some of the roads are definitely going to be flooded out as far as gaining access at Alafata? Those are my two questions.
Okay, Tom, this is Dan. Justin Bingham, are you on the call here that you can respond to about the walk-ins?
Yeah, and if not, if he's not there, if I could just reiterate that.
Justin is here, just unmute.
Okay.
Go ahead, Justin.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we do have some changes that we're planning to make this year. We actually have a new license and permitting issuance system that we have starting for the 2022-2023 season. It's going to give us more capabilities than we used to have. And those aren't going to all be available from the onset. We're kind of building them as we have the capacity to do so. And so we'll kind of roll those out in phases. And here in 2 or 3 years, we'll have kind of everything the way we envision it being moving forward. We have had a lot of discussions about what to do about the STA standby opportunities. As of this point right now, what we're planning to do would actually be the simplest process for conducting or for issuing these STA standby opportunities, and that would be through a first come, first serve online application that would basically, the way it would work, the way we're envisioning it at this point, is that we would have weekly, they're not really drawings because they're first come, first serve, but weekly periods when these opportunities would become available. And people would be able to do this, like I said, on a weekly basis. So every week, every weekend, there's going to be a hunt at the STA. So all the way from early teal, all the way through the Veterans Military Waterfowl hunts in February. On the Tuesday before those weekend hunts, what we would do is we would have those standby opportunities become available. And so the way we're thinking about doing that is having that be sometime in the evening when we're hoping most people could participate. But there is the added functionality to be able to get these from your phone as well. So kind of no matter where you are, hopefully there's going to be enough people who are going to be able to access that and be able to get these standby opportunities. But basically the plan is to stagger them in such a way. And so this would be a completely online process, but it would be first come, first serve. And so we would have, for example, we may have Friday hunts go on at 7 p.m. and then there might be 15 to 30 minutes of staggering. And so maybe at 7:30, the Saturday hunts become available. And then maybe at 8 o'clock, the Sunday hunts become available. So the plan would be so that each week, any individual, if they want to, could get a standby opportunity theoretically for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of each week. And the reason that we would like to do this on a weekly basis is because we feel like the show rate would be a lot better. We feel like the week of the hunts, it's more known whether there's good waterfowl conditions. People aren't going to have as many things come up in the interim if you're not issuing those permits weeks or months in advance. And so we feel like more of these people who are actually issued these opportunities will show up. So eventually so one other thing is that we will have tangible proof. In the past with the standby opportunities, we have not had any tangible proof that people were awarded a standby opportunity. That will be something that you're able to print out or show from the app beginning this season to show that you actually did get a standby opportunity. So there hopefully will be less gaming of the system there. And we do not have this capability available right this moment, but we're hoping to, as close to beginning of the season as possible, but to be able to have the person's place in order actually shown on their permit as well, so that they don't have to go to the website and look up their order on the standby list. Right now, the way they have to do it, they have to go to the website and look up their customer ID number and determine which order they would be picked for a standby. And so what we're planning is to have that capability to put that right on the permit, or not on the permit, but on the standby opportunity. As always, a standby opportunity doesn't guarantee you to get into the area to hunt. It's all dependent on how many permit holders don't show up and what your place is in line and how many standby opportunity holders show up ahead of you. The other thing I wanted to talk about, though, is that there is definitely some difference of opinion on what would be best to do, first come, first serve versus random draws, because we do have the ability to do, we currently have a system where we have what's called reissue drawings, and we do those on a weekly basis. So beginning Saturday, you can start applying for those. You can apply for them until Tuesdays, and then we hold a weekly drawing. So we do have the capability to do these standbys that way as well, but we felt like this was going to be the easiest and most straightforward way to do it from the beginning. And if it works, we'd like to keep it in place. If it doesn't work and the public really doesn't like it, we have the ability to go to those weekly drawings that are a random draw. And we're going to be actively monitoring this throughout the season this first year to see whether it's functioning properly, because when you do a first come, first serve drawing, it really doesn't work well if the volume of applicant is really high. And it also doesn't work well if you have low quotas and not very many choices. And so we're just trying to estimate based on past opportunities like this, the standbys at the STAs, approximately how many applicants we're expecting to have. And we don't have any concerns for crashing the system or anything like that. We're typically dealing with numbers in the hundreds of applicants rather than in the thousands or tens of thousands. Like recently with the Alligator issues that we had with the system crashing, that was over tens of thousands of applicants trying to apply at the same time. So we don't have those concerns with this type of an issue. But if it does get to the point where we're having too many people apply and the first come, first serve option is not a good fit, then we can definitely move to a weekly random drawings as well. I don't know if anybody has any specific questions. I didn't want to ramble on and on forever. I've rambled on for long enough, but that's kind of a basic overview of what we have planned. We'll continue to have discussions with the district and with our waterfowl stakeholders if necessary to fine tune this as we move forward. This isn't fully set in stone or anything, but these are our tentative plans moving forward for this upcoming season.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me just point out, due to the miracles of technology today, that's been able to get the procedure up on the screen, although it's probably too small for most people to read, but that's okay, we'll live with it. I know, like I said, I know we got a lot of people out there and they probably didn't see this, but basically, and I'm gonna quickly just run through it. First come, first serve until gone. Available beginning the Tuesday before each series of weekend hunts. The plan is to make opportunities available beginning at 6 or 7 p.m. on Tuesdays. Users will be able to obtain opportunities for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday hunts separately. Opportunities will become available in a staggered fashion. There will be 15 to 30 minutes of staggering. Example, with 15 minutes staggering, Friday opportunities available Tuesday at 7 p.m., Saturday at 7:15, and Sunday at 7:30. Hunters can obtain a maximum of 1 opportunity per hunt day, 1 for Friday, 1 for Saturday, and 1 for Sunday during each weekly issuance period. Those who obtain a standby opportunity will be given tangible proof of assurance, document available on the app and the printing. We plan to have the person's place in the standby list, order of issuance, printed on the standby opportunity document. This capability may not be available at the onset, but will come in time. This strategy will eliminate the need for users to go to the website to check for their order in the standby line. As always, a standby opportunity is not a guarantee of obtaining a permit. Is that about, that's what I have here, and that pretty well meets it. So if anybody has any questions, we'll go into more detail, but that's pretty well it. And Dan, do you have a comment?
Yeah, before we move on to the next speaker, Todd, you had a second part to your question. You asked about Alafata and the roads and the restoration. I don't see those roads being impacted, particularly Cottage Road and Parcel A, but I'm going to turn that over to Jim just to get his concurrence on some of the established roads in Alafata.
Yeah, that's pretty much true, Dan. During the wettest period, and I think this was after a 15-inch rain or so, Cottage Road had some water coming up almost into the roadway, but most of the access points to Alafata are high, dry levees. And for Alafata, well, Alafata C and Steel haven't changed. Alafata B, the access is from the north side, and that's the high side. Water flows to the south. And as you said, the Power Line Road, Cottage Road shouldn't be a problem.
Anything else, Sam? You bet we have another one or two?
No additional hands are raised.
Okay, last chance in Zoom land. Thank y'all very much. Thank you very much. All I want to say is, listen, this is all going to be worked out. The FWC and the district will make this work. It's a complicated program we have. And you have to remember, the STAs are not managed for duck hunting or gator hunters. They're managed to meet the QBL, which is coming pretty quick. And quite frankly, everybody in this building, I think, is a little bit shaky because it ain't close yet to getting that down to 13 parts per billion phosphorus. I think it's 18 or something out of the SDAs. And except for 3-4, we're running 30s, 40s, 50 part per billion. So we have to go along with the fact that the Water Management District is under a federal court order to get the phosphorus down the SDAs, coming out of the SDAs. And so it takes patience for us as hunters because we see the habitat, we see the ducks, but we have to remember that the people in this building are looking at it in one way and one way only. And we got dirty water coming from the fields and the lakes, and we got to get it out the other end at a federally mandated, very, very low phosphorus level. So I hope that's understood by all. Okay, we're ready to move on to the next subject. And Dan Cotter, section leader here at the district, will be talking about public use project updates.
Okay, thank you, Noon. Good evening, everyone. Just got some brief enhancement updates throughout the district on recreational improvements, and then going to go ahead and highlight some of the great volunteer work that's taken place recently. Okay, I'd mentioned this in the past, going up to the Orange County area, the northern part of the district. If you all haven't been there before, Shingle Creek is a beautiful management area there. About 2,400 acres located in Orange County. And we just built a new picnic shelter there. It's just really, really nice area where you can be adjacent to a pine island. And that was just completed since our last meeting, and so if you get a chance or you're in the area, please go ahead and visit that. Okay, jump down more towards our area here near headquarters, and Loxahatchee River, which probably a lot of you are familiar with, which traverses through Palm Beach and Martin counties. If you haven't been there before, one of the best places to canoe and kayak around here. And there's 2 portages there where you portage over a dam. Those were just recently, the wood was just replaced with composite wood, and these are recent pictures from just the last week or 2. So look forward to utilizing those, and they're redoing the railings right now as we speak. So those should be all complete in the next couple weeks here. Site 1, as we refer to, I've talked about this area before. This has become really popular for hiking, biking, particularly wildlife viewing. It's located in the southwest portion of Palm Beach County, of the urban area off of Lox Road. It butts right up to the Arthur R. M. Marshall Loxahatchee National Wildlife Refuge. And you can see on my screen there where the public access point is here. Just recently, over these last couple months, the district has done some pretty extensive invasive plant control and debris removal. And jump to the next picture, you can take a look at some of that work. This is a view right from the public access point. You used to not be able to see this nice lake here. And there's some trails that run through there. Like I said, a great place to go hiking, biking, wildlife viewing, and fishing. And this whole area was mechanically cleared of invasives. And over the next year, we'll be doing some plantings of natives in that area. Okay, just going to highlight, we have a lot of land that's open to the public, and we really rely on volunteers and some of the user groups to address different things, a variety of different things, and we have all kinds of volunteers out there. And so at times we like to highlight some of those work days and numerous work days of volunteers. So while I might not be able to capture them all, I've highlighted a few here. This is up in Shingle Creek, again, an organization that's just recently started to work over this last year on some of the trails in Shingle Creek. It's called SORBA, or the Southern Off-Road Bike Association. And they recently had a couple or several volunteer work days, and just cleaning up the trails, removing debris, and also repairing some of the existing walkway and bridges there. So you can see that picture there of where they replaced the decking there, and some of the volunteers working out. And like with all the volunteers, we really appreciate it. It's a big thanks from the district for everything you all do. Another one way down south in Miami-Dade County, we have our Biscayne Bay coastal wetlands properties down there. And there's a real active group down there that works on some of the public access trails that are very popular for hiking and wildlife viewing. And this group has just been working the last couple of years in this area where there was exotics once. Now they've cleaned that up, weeding, and planted just recently 400 native plants and trees in that area. And a big thank you to that group too. Okay, and next, and want to talk about the Dupuy Equestrian Volunteer Days. And before I go on this, I just want to, this is great to see all the equestrian users here. You know, Jamie, I've worked with her over the years on projects, and it's been a while, and I want to thank James for getting with you all, and you've all done a lot. These are just a few of the pictures I have of some recent projects you've done, and please, if you do any work days, send me or James pictures because they're real helpful for presentations like this. They've been out there at Dupuy a lot these last several months. Different clubs. I know our campground host out there has done a tremendous amount. Everything from remarking trails to redoing some of the boards that are broken on the paddocks or in the barns to, you know, there's two manure pits out there that were real dilapidated. They rebuilt this whole new manure pit at Dupuy. So it's just really good to see you all. I've heard a couple new clubs that I haven't, three manure pits. And when we were doing the roundtable, there was a few clubs that I hadn't heard before. You know, what we've done in the past, Jamie has done it. If there's a new organization that uses district lands, we welcome you to come and do a presentation on that equestrian group. So feel free to get with me after the meeting, me or James, and we can schedule that. But a big thank you for everything you've doing, especially at Dupuy. And then one last volunteer project. This is kind of a highlight, really big project, tremendous amount of effort that took place. I had mentioned this at the last meeting that we were going to have a big Kissimmee River volunteer project. This is what's referred to as Blanket Bay Slough or Blanket Bay Marsh. It's all the way up at the north end of the Kissimmee River, just below Lake Kissimmee, just south of State Road 60 on the east side of the river. There was a new fence line that went in recently. And so in April, on April 30th, the volunteers came out there to remove many old cross fencing that was there from the previous owner who had cattle on the project or on the land and debris. And then they installed, not only did they do that, we did multiple things. They installed public use signage out there. So I've got some pictures to show you of what took place out there. And it was a really, really great long day, a lot of work. Our staff developed some maps. You see this one on the left. This is 6 miles of fence line. And then this map highlighted what fencing needed to come out, what needed to stay in, where signs needed to be installed. And these maps were handed out to the group. We had a big kind of planning get together early in the morning before the project started, and everyone headed out. And they just broke off into different groups, and they just went on and on. Here's an example of a group that posted the whole fence line along the 6 miles. The purpose of that posting was to mark where the private property was and where the district's boundary was. Pulled out numerous fence lines, and some of these fence lines went through water, you know, through ditches. So their swamp buggies were a really big help, and you can see that one on the right-hand side where they're doing this work. Not only did they have swamp buggies, they had side-by-sides out there, 2 skid steers, and which we've never had on our volunteer projects like this before, and that was tremendous. They'd pull out whole fence lines with you know, posts and wire and all. And not only did they install the signage on the boundary, but they also installed the airboat signage to delineate the airboat line. So this project, like I said, numerous fence posts, several hundred yards of fence wire, lots of debris, including a huge long metal pipe that was in the ground that was, you know, abandoned and kind of a hazard out there. And that picture to the right just shows you one of many piles that were out there. They stack the piles up, and then our staff will come in and remove that debris. But you know, it was impressive because many of these people lived, you know, 2 hours away from here, from where this project took place. So they hauled, you know, their trucks, their trailers, 13 swamp buggies, 2 skid steers, 2 side-by-sides, and just lots of tools and equipment to make the volunteer work, real successful that day. And this is a group photo. You can see the size of the group. It was great. 54 volunteers, including families and their kids. So when you take all those volunteers, and it was a long day, you come up with 486 hours. And, if you go to the 2021 volunteer standard rate for Florida, that's, in-kind services over $13,000. And it just, a couple of the organizations that organized this and we want to thank them, the Lake Okeechobee Airboat Association, the Florida Sportsmen's Conservation Association. Big thank you to that group. And that's it. If anybody has any questions or comments, feel free to answer them.
Okay, thank you. Before I forget, we normally have a stakeholder group make a presentation of these meetings, and we didn't have one for this particular one. But it's been a long time since the equestrian people did a presentation. So I hope that one of you will get with Dan, and maybe even the next meeting you can come in and give a presentation on the group, and they work with you with slides, whatever you need. So
That'd be great.
It's been a little while. We've had I tell you, we've had stargazers, and along with campers and hikers and bikers. So you would be more than welcome, and I think we can work that out right away. And Dan's the guy to see. Okay. All right. Any questions or comments? Yes, sir. Say your name and who you with.
Dennis Healy for Sportsman's Club. Just a question. I've been to several of the volunteer days out at Dupuy, and some of the ones that you just highlighted look really, really cool. How do you find out when they are, and are they posted?
The best route is through any of the organizations, that put them on. But you can, if you're really interested, you can get a hold of James or myself. And if there's a particular type of volunteering you'd like to do, like whether it's, with the equestrian groups, or they're all open for anyone to attend. But it's usually a couple of the clubs or organizations, whether it's the Florida Trail Association, Equestrian Club, or an airboat association that puts that on. I try the best I can to talk about those big volunteer projects at this meeting prior to them happening. So if you can, we have these meetings quarterly. This one that we had on the Kissimmee River, I talked about last meeting that, of course, anyone's welcome to attend. So the best thing is, if you can't make it to the meeting, now we're fully Zoom, watch the meeting from home, and I will try to promote those ahead of time. But thank you.
I just want to say that there's a Facebook group called the Friends of Dupuy Equestrian Center, and anytime that we are establishing a work volunteer day, it will be posted there. So if you join that group and you keep tabs on it, it will let you know every time that we're planning one. If you guys have ones that you want to plan for a specific purpose, let us know, and we'll be the conduit to as many people as we can. We've only had the group for, about 2 months now, and we have, is it 3 months? We've got over almost 330 members or something like that already.
Awesome.
And it grows every time I look at it. There's more people joining. So thank you for all these folks here are the ones who did a lot of that work from last time at the Equestrian Center, and we're very excited about that. By the way, Jeanette Henderson again, for the record.
That's great to hear, and thank you to everyone.
Yes, sir.
John Kavalauskas, Florida Horsemen's Club. We have a fundraiser every year at Dupuy. I want to say you guys are in Sewicked give us a tremendous amount of help with the trails. I mean, when we ask and suggest that a trail has to be cleared, it gets cleared. And I want to thank you for that.
Great to hear.
Very good. Okay, Bishop.
I just want to thank all the staff members who spent Saturday out there with us. We really enjoyed it, and I know we kept you past your deadline, but it was well worth it. And looking forward to Earth Day 2023. So we need to start planning it. And I think we learned a few things from Saturday. We capitalize on that.
Thank you.
We're doing on Zoom. Anyone on Zoom that wants to comment, please raise your hand. Last chance here on the last go around.
I have no hands raised.
No Zoom. Anyone else here today? Yes, ma'am.
I just want to ask of when this new one that you mentioned, are there going to be equestrian trails in there at all? I noticed the bikers had something going on up there. The Shingles Creek, is that the one?
Yeah, Shingle Creek. No, that's been there for several years now, that management area. It's in a very highly urbanized area. No, there's not and it's a small site, property-wise. We usually, I've having horses myself and talking to the equestrian users over the years, we usually try to get at least a minimum of like 6 mile trail for horseback riders. That's been kind of and it just doesn't have the room for that particular site. But with that said, we're always open to expanding trails. I think some of the better places are, of course, Dupuy is probably the best equestrian trail site in Southeast Florida. But Alafata and Hickory Hammock, that's another great area. The Kissimmee River has a lot of opportunity for equestrian use.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the Kissimmee River one. I haven't been up to that one. So
Yeah,
I'd
you
like
need to go
take
up there.
a look at
You need
that
to go
one.
to the Hickory Hammock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been to Hickory Hammock. That needs,
Okay.
we,
No, but on both sides of the river, we've got, if you go to Starvation Slough, for instance, you can go horseback riding there. There's trails there. So there's some more sites up there that you can ride. Hickory Hammock being the best because you've got the barns and, the barn with the
right. Yeah,
camping and so forth.
I've been
Yeah.
to that one.
And
I was-
Kisso.
But when you had said 2,500 acres, I can make a lot more trails in 24.
Yeah, the
acres
problem
than
with-
2 miles if it's got the right terrain,
Yeah,
but that's another
well,
story.
Yeah, and Shingle Creek's a very wet area. There's only a couple pinelands that are dry, and it's all extremely wet. It's not like Dupuy where you've got, a mixture and you've got a lot of land. The other good place, which you need to go visit, Jeanette, if you haven't gone to, is Kisso. That's a big equestrian area, so I'd love to see you guys go up there, help with the trails and the marking like you did at Dupuy. That'd be great. And Alapata, it sounds like you guys got lost. If we can do a trail marking volunteer project there, that would be awesome.
As soon as we get done with Dupuy, that's the next step.
Okay. Okay, yeah, it's been a while since it's been marked. A lot of the marks are probably gone. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Carol Walter. I have a question. I'm not real sure if South Florida Water Management District deals in Pine Glade. Is that your property or is that?
That sounds
County?
like Pine Glade. Sounds like Palm Beach County.
That's
Okay.
Palm
Yeah.
Beach County.
So you'd get up with the Palm Beach County.
Is Hungry Lands part of what you deal with?
Yes, so,
Okay.
which 9 Gems, the portion on the east side that we refer to as 9 Gems or Culpeper, yeah, that portion that's another area that's really nice for horseback riding.
I've been in the clubs for quite a while. I know Susan Kennedy. I was here when Karen Marcus
Yeah.
was in and bought all this property during those times. And I know that there is a planned trail through Pine Glade with a gate already there. It just needs the pass-through gate to get horses into Hungry Lands from Jupiter Farms. Is that something I would come here for or go back to the county for?
Well, you can definitely talk to us. I would start with the county because it sounds like that gate and that property is theirs. So start with them, but feel free to call James or myself. Jamie can get a hold of us and we can talk about it more.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hungryland. We had a lady at the governing board meeting, I live in Tequesta, so I know the area. Are you having any problems with that piece of property adjacent to Hungry Land that people are selling like 2-acre lots, many of them with no access? It's, well, yeah. The problem is, of course, is like the lady at the governing board meeting says, they found a dead deer laying around, and that's not good. So, I mean, we're the recreation people here for the district properties, and what goes on adjacent to the properties, I think the district has a real strong, we want to be a good neighbor policy, but I think that goes two ways. I just wondered if you had had any incidents yet. Okay. Well, just be aware that if any problems, we'd be interested in knowing about it. Not much we can do about it, I don't think, but it's just, other than talk to our FWC friends about getting some law enforcement out there. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Newton, that's a real problem, and I really appreciated the person from the Homeowners Association coming to the board meeting and talking about it, and we've absolutely engaged FWC, Martin County, the Palmar Water Control District, but that is something that we've got to solve. It's a complex myriad of land ownership and everything like that, but it's something we're definitely paying attention to and got the right people around the table to try to figure it out.
We appreciate that. The fact is, we have to be good neighbors, but it works both ways, you know, and well, horseback riding is listen, Dupree is a place that I've driven through the place going to go squirrel hunting and pull over so the horses can go by. It's incredible, you know, incredible the places that we have where we have concurring recreation, and I think everybody has a pretty good time, and there's very few conflicts. So that's what we kind of look for. But I've done it many times over the years. Okay, we did really good tonight in terms of time. Our next meeting is September the 19th here in this room. Again, I hope that y'all will get with Dan, and perhaps we could have a stakeholder presentation from the horse riders. And it doesn't have to be just your group. It can be up in the Kissimmee area too, the Hickory Hamlet and all this. So, anybody else have anything? How are we standing here? We're okay? Blake, do you have any closing words? Sorry, Drew.
That's fine. Yeah, it was great to see the equestrian community come out tonight. I hope you got a little bit out of it, and we absolutely look forward to engaging and you know, doing the best we can with our lands to help recreation in our community. And thanks for all the regulars. Thanks FWC for your presentation and everything you do. So appreciate everyone coming and really enjoyed the discussion.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.